Welcome back, everybody, to another Maledictor update. Let's jump on into this one because it's an important one. First off, added episode 1 boss animations. Pretty self-explanatory. It's one of those things that I just really have not gotten that much better at least that much more efficient at. I don't know. Either way, fortunately for me, the nature of the boss fight meant that I didn't have to do as many frames for the animations, and I was able to cut out some of the turnaround, but, still took a while. I don't know, maybe one of these days I'll have to actually sit down and dedicate some time to learning how to actually animate things a little bit faster, but not today. So, next, fixed enemy projectile bug. I don't remember this one. It's been a long month, so I just know the enemy projectiles work better now. Next up, improved axe cultist attack sounds. Yes, this is actually, I guess, maybe less of a change to the sound and more of an addition into it. So now, when we go into the game here, if we use our hook to attack a wall, then it makes the impact sound, but if we swing here, it detects that it misses and makes a different sound. So now, the axe will actually make a different sound based on whether they hit you or whether they miss you, and it makes a huge difference in how it feels to fight them. So, they feel a lot better. It's something that you wouldn't think would improve all that much of the game, but it feels like a huge step up for me, so I'm really happy about that one. Fixed a line trace bug. This one, I really hope that this is completely fixed. I know that probably doesn't inspire much confidence hearing that, but it was basically a bug with the interactions of the line trace channels that I was using before. So they worked all right before, but since I redid the vision and sound system, there wound up being some problems, and it's how to explain it. So when you do a line trace, like for instance, if we go back here and we swing, this is actually firing out an invisible line that's a certain distance long, and if it intersects with, say, a world static object, then it knows that it hit something. Otherwise, if it doesn't hit it, then it knows that it didn't hit anything, so it missed. And there are all sorts of things that use line traces, like interacting with a keypad button, for instance. Like, you gotta press the button on a keypad. We pull one up here. Yeah. You gotta press one of these buttons, and then we're going to be firing out a line trace to see which button the player pressed. And a bunch of other things like vision checks for enemies and things like that all use that system, and they all trace on a certain channel, and you can set the channel to be different things, but the important thing is that each of these channels will have different interactions in them, or you set up your game to have these different interactions happen on specific channels, like a visibility channel or a camera channel, things like that. And what was happening was the line traces were set up to pretty much only interact with a certain channel, and while the enemy vision cones are part of that channel, they're also set to ignore the line traces, but that wasn't happening. So basically everything broke with line traces for a bit. So I went in and I believe I have fixed every interaction with the line traces and everything. And hopefully this is not going to end up like a the particle effect to sprite effect shift, where it's like every update I find a new one. Hopefully this is all fixed, because this is actually a pretty major thing that could be really annoying. So next, we've got, I missed this one, the slightly increased Axe Cultist attack range. Yeah, that's pretty much what it sounds. The attack range for the Axe Cultist was way too low, I think. So I increased it. In the grand scheme of things, not a major amount as a net increase in range, but as a percentage increase in range, it's a pretty big increase. So, yeah, the Axe Cultists now have a much better chance of hitting you, but not overly so, like it still makes sense. And then next, the tradition continues of more sprites. Then we also have more models. Then we've got a big block of E1M8 progress. E1M8 design done, boss scripting done, secrets added, boss health balancing, pickups added, boss attack balancing. And there's really just one small bit that I need to alter, so I technically can't call E1M8 done. However, overall, I would say it is pretty much done. There's just some things in the scripting that I just needed to get voice lines in, and so there's a lot of stand-in sounds. So I'm going to be, over the next couple of days, swapping out the stand-in sounds for the actual sounds that are going to be happening. So E1M8, technically not done, but for all intents and purposes, it's done. Next, IED minimum damage lowered. So when I originally coded the IED, I didn't understand a lot of systems very well, because I coded the weapons pretty much first thing when I made the game. So the damage minimum for the IED it's got a radial fall off, so as you get closer to the actual explosion, the center of the explosion, the damage goes up, and then there's a fall off so that the damage will go down the farther away you get from it. And so the damage, I think at maximum right now, is 130 damage. And I had the minimum set to be 100, which meant that if you were on the very edge of the explosion, you would take 100 damage. And for reference, some of the enemies have 15 health. So other than the boss, we are nowhere near 100 health on anybody, which meant that the IEDs were always just setting a nuke off. If anybody was caught in that explosion, they were dying. Player included, by the way. Unless you were full health with armor. So, yeah, so I got that adjusted so that now there's some reasonable fall off. You can still nuke enemies with it, but it's nowhere near like it was. It definitely needed to get fixed. Next, adjusted the E1M7 layout. E1M7 at the beginning was just a little too open, so I kind of closed it down a little bit and made it a little more close quarters. So the intro of E1M7 should be better. Now, boss saves and loading for attacks. That one is kind of important because you need the boss attacks to save, so that if you are, saving and loading in the middle of a boss fight, you can't do a little exploit where the boss, every time the boss puts out an attack, you save the game and then reload it and it clears the boss attacks. Or, more importantly, is if you die to a boss attack and he's got like multiple attacks out, or he throws one out and you're going to get hit, so then you just load back to a save at, like, say the start of the fight. You don't want a boss attack to carry through and just be there from your previous playthrough. So, it implementing the saving and loading for boss attacks also clears old boss attacks, which is also equally as important. Next, added more E1M8 ambient sounds. So this is going to be a thing that's going to be popping up a lot across multiple levels, is as I am nearing the early access release on Steam, I'm going to be adding a lot more polish into the game, which includes a lot more ambient sounds. So I just started that with E1M1, and there's still a lot more that I want to do. So we'll be working on that. And E1M7 soundtrack added. And really, I should add that we also have E1M8's soundtrack done. And potentially the main menu as well. I'd need to actually go in and re-add that and check it out and just make sure that it works all right. Next, enemy voice acting added. And in the same vein there, we've got boss voice acting added, history of interest voice acting added, cryptids and creatures voice acting added, and then Pursuit of Truth #2 radio show added. So, yeah, voice acting, big thing. I'm also working on getting the main character voiced. I've got most of his voice lines in, and they're sounding good, but just need all of them to come in, so he's not completely voiced yet, but we're getting there. Yeah, so getting voice actors was definitely interesting. I can't really share all of the adventures that happened with that one, but the point is that I finally got some voice actors that I like. So happy about that. Yeah, so that will be it for this update. It's a big one, and I think we're just gonna get another pretty huge update coming up for this month. So you gotta get back to work on that, but definitely expect another big one for this coming month. So everybody, thanks so much for watching. I appreciate it. I'll see you guys next time. Have a good one, everyone.